is going on? Welcome to episode 55 of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh. Player 2 on this one he's back. HateXero. What's going on, man?
What is up, everybody? And Josh, what is up, Josh?
What's up, dude? How was your Christmas?
It was great. Got some ice, so that was really exciting, trying to navigate the hills with all the ice, about an inch. That was really cool.
Nice.
Fun. How about yours?
Yeah, we had a little bit of snow to deal with. Nothing too bad. So got a lot of sweet Nintendo loot for Christmas, so that was fun. A few things I have to mention right off the bat. First off, this is an unofficial Nintendo podcast. This is not an official Nintendo show. So last week, Nintendo launched the Nintendo Power Podcast, or Nintendo Power Podcast. I don't know if the is in front of it or not. And I know a lot of you that are listening now stumbled into this show. So if you think this is the official show, it's not. And I want to make sure I point you in the right direction. So if you go on iTunes and type in Nintendo Power Podcast, you're going to find the official show. So I just want to make sure that was clear to everybody. I don't want anybody feeling like they've been, swindled into listening to this one. Welcome. If you're a new listener, we're super, super glad to have you. But this is an unofficial Nintendo podcast. So we're going to state that at the beginning of every episode. Before we get to anything else, real quick, if you go to audibletrial.com/NPC, you can get yourself a free audiobook of your choice and help support this show. I recommend books like Ready Player One, Super Mario, good stuff there. That's audibletrial.com/NPC. Also, the chair I'm sitting in from opseat.com. Comfortable, affordable gaming chairs. Use coupon code N64Josh to save $10. And lastly, I do have a Patreon where you can get an extra podcast each month, and there are other tiers available. Go to patreon.com/N64Josh. That's it. As far as ads, we do this show typically live Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Today we're doing it early because I've got family visiting because it's the holidays, right? It's that time of year. So I do have some family coming, so we're just doing it early. Hate and I were texting, talking about his possible new venture with a possible new podcast, trying to come up with a name and whatnot. So I'm giving spoilers already, but and I said, hey, are you home alone right now? He's like, I am. I'm like, hey, let's record the last episode of the year. He's like, sweet, let's do it. So
any advice to any kids listening? If someone texts you and asks if you're home alone, the safe thing to do is not respond to that person. Just so you know.
Yeah, that's true.
It worked out okay for me this time, but it's a gamble.
It is a gamble. So, yeah, be careful with that. But so let's just jump into the show. Basically the point of this show, we're going to look back on the year. We are going to talk about the games that we think you should pick up if you got a Switch for Christmas. And I've had a lot of people ask me, hey, I'm getting a Switch for Christmas. What games should I get? So I'm like, you know what? We're going to do a show that just kind of lays out a bunch of games. People in chat, if you want to help us out with any games you recommend, we're going to tackle this thing together. So, but before we do, as always, what have you been playing, man?
So I've been playing a little bit of Xbox, I'm not going to lie, but I have been playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I didn't expect to like it, but you wouldn't stop praising the game. And so I was like, you know what? I'll just go for it. It has not let me down. You did not disappoint. The game is solid. Very long. And man, the first 4 chapters take forever, but it's good.
So how far are you?
I think I'm on chapter 4 now. So not very from my understanding, but I'm like maybe 24, 26 hours in or something ridiculous. So,
you're moving faster than I did. What level are you?
I don't remember. I think I'm in the low 20s now. I don't remember. It's been a little over a week since I played. Maybe.
Gotcha. I gotcha. I'm in the same same boat with that game. I'm in chapter 4, but I'm just about to level 35.
Oh,
And basically I hit a boss that was 29 and it beat me. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to just grind for a while. And so there's an area in chapter 4 where you can just kind of run a circle and there's just constant enemies there. So I've just been kind of doing that. And I'm high enough level now that I don't have to do anything. So I'm kind of like, get the battle started, listen to what they're doing, maybe do something on my phone, and then go back and then find the next guys, do the battle. And I'm like, you know, I'm just going to grind until I get like, I'd like to get 10 to 15 levels, but it's going to take way too long. So I'm probably just going to get probably hit level 35, 36 and then continue on. And I think that's going to put me far enough ahead that when I get to each boss fight, I don't have this same thing of like, oh, I lost, I got to go grind. I want to just be able to continue the story. So I'm either way, you're hitting that. You're going to have to grind some. I just want to kind of get it all out of the way in one swift blow. So Captain Logan says quality gaming right there. Hey, I'm still having fun. With it.
That's all that matters. You know what? If you're having fun and you want to play the game by setting the controller down, hey, I can't fault you. Gaming should be fun. There's no right or wrong way to do it, as long as you're having fun.
I was literally cooking prime rib and leveling up yesterday. So,
it's probably not the manufacturer's intent.
No.
The developer probably wasn't intending for that to happen, but hey, you know what? It works.
It does. It really does. Any other games? I know there's at least one other game that you've been playing that you've got to talk about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll talk about a couple others. So, I've been playing versus Super Mario Brothers. So that Ninja released on Friday or Thursday night, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see anyone talking about it. Didn't see it get announced anywhere. It just showed up on the eShop quietly. If you haven't played it and you're like Captain Logan, who says $8 is too much, I totally get it. $8 is a lot for some of these old games. There is a caveat, though. As far as I know, this is the only official way to play versus Super Mario Brothers. It's not the same original release. It's not Mario All-Stars. It is the arcade versus Super Mario Brothers. And it's a little bit harder than regular Mario Brothers. There's less power-ups. The lives don't come as frequent. I feel like you die a lot more, at least I do. But it's fun. It's a good port.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it too. Seeing the differences in the levels, really having to go like, wait a minute, there was a fire flower there before. What the heck, Yeah. But still finding some of the secret 1-ups and everything, which kind of surprised me. I thought they would take some of those out, and I'm sure they did in some places. The first thing I did was go to World 3. I warped to World 3 and went to the end of the level to try to do the infinite live glitch. It's all Goombas. There's not turtles walking down that thing. So there may be another area in the game to do it, but it wasn't there. So,
well, it was an arcade game. So if they weren't getting a quarter every 2 minutes from you, it's not profitable.
Right. They weren't doing it right.
So, and I haven't confirmed it personally, but I've read online that you can't warp to World 8. The max you can warp to is World 6 now on versus Super Mario Brothers. So you have to actually play through the rest of the game like a peasant.
Thankfully, it's as easy as hitting the trigger to insert quarters.
Yeah, no kidding. I did pull out the SNES Classic and play that. Nothing in particular. I tried to play F-Zero, which I loved that game growing up, but man, does that game not hold up as well. It makes me dizzy now, which is really sad because I spent so much time playing it, and now it's like, oh my goodness, what is happening?
Mode 7, dude, it's pretty rough.
It's cutting edge, bleeding edge. The last game that I've been playing that everyone should go get is a little game called Floor Kids.
You love this game.
So I do love the game. So the art style, it's all hand-drawn art. The music was done by one DJ, a famous DJ named Kid Koala. John Animations is the guy who does all the art for the game. It's It's really fun. It's a rhythm game, but I don't want to say it's in the vein of most rhythm games you played, because you don't have to hit X or Y at a certain time. You can hit them in whatever order you want. You're just trying to increase your combos. So at some point, you could do one dance move over and over again, and you'll still score points, but you won't get the multipliers. You won't get your combos up. At some point, it'll tell you like, okay, so you're doing this move. The next move you should do is this. You have to remember what that move is on the controller, because there's 4 different dance styles, and I believe 4 different moves within each 4 different dance styles, and then there's modifiers on top of that. So there's some depth to it. They are supposedly working on some DLC, and online leaderboards should be coming soon, so we can all compete and talk trash to each other about who has the best score.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. So, I mean, Guitar Hero's back is what you're telling me.
See, but Guitar Hero, you have to press a specific thing at a specific time. So someone compared it, and I think Hatred Shaped Like a Man, Destinot, Roni, Ivy, the emblem, whatever his name is currently.
Yeah.
He asked, he said, hey, someone compared it to Tony Hawk. I guess I kind of see that, because it's all about combos, and stringing together the longest combo is going to get you the most points. But it's kind of like Tony Hawk and Parappa the Rappa, I guess.
Okay.
So
interesting.
That would be the best way to describe it.
I need to watch some videos, and I need to see it in action a little bit more. But I know you're like he said the goal for the show is to get me to buy this game before it's over. So
yeah, it's 1990, and somehow they got Nintendo to bite on this. But 1990 is the one-handed head spin breakdance move.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a cool throwback to a culture that has not died. It kind of slimmed down, but the b-boy community is still very much real. You can go to your local rec center and probably see people breakdancing to this day.
Very interesting. Yeah, I will. I will check it out. Captain Logan says you can't see this game; you have to feel it. So
yeah,
there you go.
And hear it.
Yeah. So for me, I finally played a little SteamWorld Dig 2. I'm not. The gameplay of that game is awesome. I'm really liking that. The art style, for some reason, I don't love it. It looks it just doesn't have like a standard video game art style for me, which
right.
Like just the pixel art that I kind of want to see. It looks almost more almost like a Flash game kind of. I don't know what it is. For me, it doesn't do anything for me. But I'm not going to what's the saying? Throw the baby out with the bathwater.
I don't think that's a real saying that we say.
I think from like the 1940s or something.
I don't think we say that. You shouldn't turn on the electricity when the kite's flying, that's not things that people say.
Right. So I'll come up with a better thing to say, but basically I'm still enjoying the game, in spite not liking the art style, so it's really, and it has that Metroid feel, kind of like where you can see a spot you want to get to, but you can't quite figure out how to get there. And then eventually you might dig your way down to it and you're above it and you just end up there. So, I'm digging it.
No pun intended.
I think
right?
that was Logan last week. So that's cool. Like I said, I've been grinding Xenoblade Chronicles 2. We did a Christmas party on Friday night on stream, had a ton of fun, sang Christmas carols and everything. And then we all played Mario Kart 8 together. And, that was a ton of fun. I pulled out the SNES Classic at Christmas yesterday with the family and watched all my brother-in-laws and my brother, even some of my sisters, like Donkey Kong Country, like they were freaking out, like this is my childhood, like they were loving it. So watching them do that, and then watching their kids grab the Super Nintendo controller and play and just kind of be into it. It was just really cool to see the family kind of gather around the SNES and just enjoy it. So that was a good time. But I think at this point we're going to get into our talking points. One, we mentioned it earlier. Nintendo now has an official podcast, the Nintendo Power Podcast. Did you check it out? Did you get a chance to listen to it?
I listened to the first little bit of it. I'm very surprised. I don't know how far you want to promote their show, but
I don't
they
care.
They have someone on their team who seems to be the most logical choice to have on the show, and he wasn't there. So so obviously I'm talking about the former NVC. Was it Jose Ortega? Ortero. Yeah. So he seems like the obvious choice to have hosting, or at least co-hosting this show. Maybe they'll bring him in later. I don't know. Right now, we still don't know if they're going to be doing this weekly, monthly, as needed.
It says seasons on the on iTunes, I think, or something like that. Like
so 4 shows a year.
I don't know. I don't know what that means. If it's like a network show, like where they're going to just do 13 episodes and then that's a season, or I don't know.
Yeah. But it seemed cool. They're going to have the best content, the hugest content, because they have access to all the internal developers and everything. So it can be a really cool show depending on what direction they take with it. This one was kind of the typical year-end Zelda Game of the Year show, which is fine. It was, like I said, I listened to a good chunk of it, or the first little bit of it, and it was entertaining. What's the guy's name? Chris, the host? Yeah, like Chris Stats or States or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember.
His voice is fine, so I will put him in my arsenal and wait for new content. We'll see.
Yeah, I wonder how often we'll see it. The thing I really enjoyed from the show was the developer interview with Zelda, like hearing a lot of the thinking that went into the design of Zelda and why they made some of the choices they did. And just getting, anytime for me, when I get more information like that, it just gives me a greater connection to the game. I don't know if connection is the best word, a greater appreciation for the game, and maybe some clarity on why some things are the way they are versus, why they, if they could have been different or whatever, like the weapons breaking and that kind of stuff. They wanted to keep that with just the spirit of exploration. Like, you find a stick on the go when you were a little kid, that was your sword or whatever. And then just so on and so forth. And so it was, it's a pretty good interview. I do recommend listening to it. And they did a really good job of allowing, the Japanese speaking developers to talk with their, with the translation going on over the top, and it wasn't too distracting or, didn't really take away from it. So overall, I think it was a great show. Show. And I mean, by default, it put us at number 2 on iTunes, which was incredible. Like, I couldn't believe it. Well,
when I first searched for the show, I couldn't find it. I only found Nintendo Powercast. So.
Yeah, they hadn't even registered in the search engine yet. So that's why I had so many people listening to this show. So again, we aren't the official show. Just make sure to go check out the real one if you didn't, because it's good. So Mario cereal, you've had no luck, right?
Nope, I can't find it. I've looked at 4 or 5 different stores. I haven't seen it. I don't even see a placeholder for it. So I am looking. I realized the cereal's probably not going to be that good. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a huge Lucky Charms fan, and this looks like the knockoff bottom shelf brand Lucky Charms. So I'm going to get hate mail after this. So, but that's fine. So have you got it?
I do have it. My wife got me 2 boxes they were under the tree wrapped up. Christmas morning. I reminded her on the 22nd while she was out, hey, look for Mario cereal. And then she texts me and says she struck out, and well, she was lying. So, but the reason we're talking about it isn't just because of the fact that I got Mario cereal. What the guy at Walmart told my wife is that they were getting, at our store anyway, 200 more boxes this week. So if you're still on the look for it, if you want to be able to at least get a box or a couple boxes or whatever, they should be getting, I would assume everywhere would be getting restocked just like my store is. So, yeah. So be on the lookout for. I will look for it. Did they say if this is going to be a super limited thing like most Nintendo products, or are they doing like a 6-month run? Do we know anything about that yet? I personally don't know. I'm not sure if, I didn't research the cereal all that much, but, yeah. So, I've had, Lumberjoke is asking in the chat, are you going to free one from the packaging? I think I will try it. Yeah. Maybe let my kids, have their go at the cereal. So, so let's see here. Let's get into basically the question I've been getting a ton this last week is I'm picking up a Switch and what games should I get? And some of these games are going to be obvious games. We're going to go to, we've created a fairly extensive list of retail single player games, retail multiplayer games, which may be couch multiplayer or online multiplayer, eShop single player games, and eShop multiplayer games. And so that's where we're going to spend the majority of this show, just kind of talking about this, and then we will wrap it up. So, hey, retail single player games. What's your recommendation here? Well, that one's pretty obvious. You have to pick up Zelda. You have to pick up Mario Odyssey. I have a hard time. I also got this question a lot over Christmas and leading up to Christmas, but it's such a hard thing to answer because I don't know if you're going to like Xenoblades. I don't know if you're going to like Rabbids. They might not be your types of game. I do think you should give Rabbids a shot. It's a great game. But you might absolutely hate that game style. So Mario Rabbids is another great one. We've got FIFA, which I don't think I can recommend yet because it's not been reviewed very well. WWE sounds like it was horrible and unplayable. So probably don't pick that up. Yes. NBA 2K is okay. All right, your turn. You go. NBA 2K is okay. Did you play that much on the Switch, or did you end up with getting it on another system? Or I exclusively have it on the Switch, and they did fix a lot of my complaints. So there were a couple of huge updates that came out for the game, and a lot of the issues that I was running into with like audio, not lagging, but just having weird popping. It was like having pop in for audio. It was bizarre. That's been fixed. The frame rate of cutscenes have been fixed. So it's totally playable now, and playing it on the go is cool. So, okay. So yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Obviously Zelda, obviously Mario. Mario plus Rabbids really did surprise me. Like, it just has that. We've said it 100 times. It has that that Nintendo charm, but it also has this XCOM. I almost said Soulcom. This XCOM style of play that wasn't something I was real familiar with, and I'm actually really hoping this next week so I'm off all week. So I'm like, cool. I'm trying to squeeze in all this game time that I can. And a lot of it just keeps going to Xenoblade. I really want to try to finish that one up before the new year. And, but they did add a 2-player couch multiplayer to Mario plus Rabbids. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, but like I said, we're going to have family here. That's going to be one of the ones me and my uncle try. So who knows? I'll talk about that maybe next week a little bit. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is an absolute must for me. Like, it's right up there with Zelda and Mario as a title that if you're an RPG fan, a JRPG fan, even if you're not, I wasn't really. Western RPGs are my jam. Kind of JRPGs, not so much. This game, Great story, great gameplay. Highly recommend. So we have Doom, Skyrim, and LA Noire on this list. Now, if you only have a Switch, I would say these are and you haven't played any of these games. I haven't played LA Noire. I've heard good things about it. Hate's heard good things about it, so that's why it's on here. But I have Doom and Skyrim. They both play well on the Switch. Doom's just a fun, fast-paced 90s style shooter. Skyrim is Skyrim. Everybody should know what it is at this point. And you can use your amiibo with it, which is fun. And so if you have no other way to play these games and you haven't played them, definitely Switch purchases. If you have an Xbox One or a PS4 or a PC, you're gonna get the most bang for your buck with those games on a higher end rig. There's no way around that. But
can I caveat?
Yeah, go for it.
Skyrim, I agree. You're going to get all the mods and the shaders, and if you have a 1X, you can do the 4K stuff. But Skyrim, being able to play that on the go, that might make it worth. Like Doom probably lends itself to a big screen, but having Skyrim to be able to play in a hotel, play on a plane, a train, automobile, in between, if you're on break at work, you're like, hey, I'm going to eat my lunch and I got some time to kill. Let me play 20 minutes of Skyrim. It might be the best way to play it. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's another factor into the whole thing is the handheld ability, Yeah. I've literally drained my battery playing Xenoblade this morning, from a full charge to zero, while hanging out with the family and just talking on the couch, drinking coffee and whatnot. And so that's a whole nother factor with the system. For me, I bought Skyrim again because I'm like, well, one, I'm collecting the physical games at this point, but I hadn't played it in like 6 years. So it was like, even jumping back into it is like, this is kind of fresh and new for me. It's cool. And I, getting the Hylian shield right away, I'm like, this is awesome. So there's retail single player, retail multiplayer. This is going to be couch and online, right?
Yep. The
first one for me is Mario Kart. Like, that is a must. You got 4 players. You can do battle mode. You can do races. So that, for just on the couch. And if you only have a Switch, just like out of the box, and you don't have any extra controllers or anything, you can do 2-player right off the bat with the thing, which is great. Yep. Mario Kart, with the Joy-Cons on their sides, your hands can cramp up a little bit depending on how big they are holding the Joy-Cons that way. But it's still a stellar choice. And if you have young kids like that are wanting to play but can't really figure it out, Mario Kart is great because you have the auto acceleration and auto steering, so that they won't fall off the edge the whole time. They can actually compete. They can actually finish the race. Because there's nothing worse than starting a game with a younger kid that doesn't really understand, and they drive off the entire time and they're in last place, but they have to finish before the race will move on. So this eliminates that altogether. So that's one I highly recommend. What about you?
Yeah, I agree 100% with Mario Kart. I personally found the split Joy-Cons on their side to be totally playable. If you put the little bumper thing on there, you can hit the left and right triggers. It was totally playable, totally doable. Not the most comfortable in the world, but still fun. I'm going to go with ARMS. I personally didn't play a lot of ARMS, but I think it shows off more of what the system is really capable of than any other game on the list. And I think Nintendo's biggest failing with ARMS is they released it in a crazy year for Nintendo, in a good way, but in a year where it just got drowned behind all the other phenomenal choices we had.
Yeah, it's a stellar game. There was some news with it this week. They are done supporting it as far as adding more characters and that kind of stuff. That is something that was announced that some people were a little bummed out about. But I mean, it's a new franchise. Like it's made it through the holiday season. I don't know how much more promotion they did for that game during the holiday season. Didn't seem like a lot, but it seemed like a pretty well-received franchise. A lot of people liked it. It's the best way to play with motion controls. I found anyway, like it plays very well that way. I was really impressed with it. Every time I put it in with my kids to play, we've had a great time. Like we've done some 4-player battles and stuff, just sitting on the couch. Really, really fun. Like really fun. So that one's definitely up there. Splatoon 2 is another one that's just great. Like basically a casual shooter in a way. I mean, you shoot the ground, right? And not a whole lot of...
Maybe you shoot the ground.
That's true. Yeah, maybe I do. Getting massive support from Nintendo. Like they're constantly adding content to this game. Like it's not even close to the same game it was when it launched. It's just been given so much extra stuff, which is great. Not a lot of... you don't really have the ability to play couch co-op. This is going to be an online game. And so keep that in mind, but it is very fun. Every time I've put the Switch into the hand of my daughter or anything to let her try it, she's like, I love Splatoon. Like I need to remind her that because we have a Switch on the downstairs TV now. And so she's been playing Mario Odyssey and loving it. But, I have to remind her, hey, you can play Splatoon. She's probably going to be like, give it to me right now. So it's a great game and good for all ages.
Yeah. Splatoon 2 was great. That's probably Nintendo's, well, not probably, it's their flagship online multiplayer game. And that's the only game that got any support through the Nintendo voice app. So, it's good. It's really fun. I think they finally fixed... I need to jump back into it. They finally fixed some of the major gripes I have where you can't change your loadouts unless you back all the way out.
Yeah.
And sounds like that's been fixed, so maybe I'll jump back on because the gameplay was solid and you can contribute without being phenomenal at the game. You don't have to kill everybody. You can just put more paint down than anyone else, which is really nice for people who aren't, the best at Twitch shooters anymore.
Don't ever admit that. Just stay strong.
Hey, I didn't say me. I said people. Okay, people.
That a boy.
Not me.
That a boy. So the next one I have on the list here is Fire Emblem Warriors, and it's a hack and slash kind of game. So if you enjoy that kind of gameplay, like the Dynasty Warriors style play, that's what you're going to get with Fire Emblem. There's some strategy mixed into it, which is cool. Not a game for everybody, definitely not a game for everybody, but I do know a lot of people that have really enjoyed it. The little bit of time I've spent with it, I have also really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for something, especially this is the couch co-op thing, back in the day when Hyrule Warriors came out, I sat down with my wife and played it on Wii U, and she's like, this is really fun. It's just a simple hack and slash game for the most part, the way the controls are and everything, but they are fun. So, and then the last one I have on here is Puyo Puyo Tetris. So was that a pickup for you? I don't remember.
No, I didn't even play it. If you're going to put that on there, you might as well put 1-2 Switch on there too. Like, how do we not have Nintendo's flagship multiplayer launch title?
Yeah, that's 1-2 Switch gets a lot of hate. I liked it. I still like it. It's a fun family party game, family game, party game.
Let me break it down in real simple terms.
Break it down.
If you can find that game on sale, pick it up.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. So like I had a Christmas party at the house and I put it on there, and I'm not going to promote. You can, let's see, how do I say this with being politically PG? You can have punishments for losing the game. So you can set up like a rotation of your friends going through, like on Quick Draw or something. Loser has to do something, drink some water or something. You know what I mean? Something
out of
like
a
that.
Mario pint glass that I got for Christmas.
There you go.
Okay.
So no, it's a lot of fun. I just the asking price is too high out of the gate. So if you can get it cheaper, And like Hatred just said, 1-2 trash. I don't think it's 1-2 trash. I don't. It's slightly better than that. If you can get it on sale, just pick it up.
You just got to play it. You got to play it with somebody. Definitely.
Yeah, there's no way to play it any other. I mean, you could quick draw with yourself. I don't know.
Don't buy it if you don't have anyone to play it with. So
very true.
But yeah, Puyo Puyo Tetris also pretty fun. You know, if you like the puzzle games, it's 4 players. Like my wife and I have played this one, like pulling out the Switch at the restaurant, just waiting for our food. Going head to head. So it's also a decent one. So there's our retail games. Now we're going to get into eShop, which like we started making this list and some of these games you can get the physical copy for, but we're just kind of, this is like when we say eShop, we're basically saying like our indies, basically our indie titles. So I know one of your favorites from this year was Golf Story.
Love it.
Yeah, give us the 2-minute pitch on Golf Story.
All right, so Golf Story is Earthbound mixed with Mario Golf. We can move to the next one. Everybody should have left the chat who hasn't bought it and went out and bought it. It's Earthbound mixed with Mario Golf. Am I not saying that clear enough? Earthbound and Mario Golf. It's a lot of fun. It's light on the golf. It's not a real technical golf game. So people are like, I don't like golf. Well, that's fine. I don't love golf. The games are okay. But it's a goofy golf game. It's simple to pick up. The controls aren't incredibly deep. You can spin the ball and all of the stuff you would expect. But there's a lot of fun dialogue. There's leveling up. It's Earthbound mixed with Mario Golf.
There you go. Yeah, the little bit of time I spent with it, I have had a great time with it as well. One I hope to pick up and finish at some point. So probably won't happen, but I do want to try.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Well,
I believe in you.
I'll have more free time someday. Yeah, right. Stardew Valley is another game that if you're into the kind of like the Animal Crossing style games, but almost mixed with Zelda in a way, because it's like you can go and adventure with a sword, but you can also fish, and you can have a garden, and the list goes on and on. The game is in a 24-hour cycle that happens in about 20 minutes, I think, or a half hour or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but
15 or 20 minutes for a day.
Yeah, so you have to go back and sleep each night and that kind of stuff. And they are adding multiplayer to the Switch first. I believe that's an exclusive.
February, I believe.
So yeah, so there you go. Don't really know what that looks like yet, but really, really quite a fun game. I'm afraid to buy a second copy to have when my wife starts playing this game, because I might lose her to it. So, because it does have that, it's very, very addicting, and $20, you're getting a lot of game. You're getting a lot of game for $20. So
if you have $20 and you can only pick one game, let's say you got a Nintendo Switch and you got an eShop card. I would say you have to pick up Stardew Valley, because I don't think there's any other game where you will sink for that price point that you can sink that much time into. Because I've accidentally put like almost 40 hours into Stardew Valley, and I'm like, I think I'm in year 2 now. So I'm never going to get a wife in that game. It's just way too much work. There's so much you can do. It's just crazy. And when my understanding of multiplayer is you're going to be able to go to your friends' farms and like trade with them. So I can bring stuff to you. You can then trade with me, so we don't have to grow the same things. So really cool.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun one. I loved the fishing. The fact that you could like upgrade your pole and that kind of stuff, like there's just it really just caters to how you want to play, which is fun. So I also really enjoyed adventuring, and it really had like a Zelda feel to it, kind of just going down into like a dungeon or whatever. So my friend's buddy, that's weird. Okay. My friend's son, he's 8 or 9 or something. He plays the game. He's on like year 15. He wakes up, waters his plants, and goes to bed. That's how he plays the game.
I don't want to tell him he's doing it wrong, but hey, you know what? He that's how he enjoys the game. It's simply a gardening game. He doesn't go anywhere else. He doesn't as minor trading as he has to. He waters his plants, harvests plants, goes to bed.
Hopefully he remembers to feed the dog. Hopefully.
You don't actually have to feed the dog. It makes you a bad person, but your dog won't die.
Oh, there you go.
So, just so you know.
Oh, good to know. I don't have to worry about that dog anymore. The next on the list, and this maybe could be in the multiplayer. I can't remember off the top of my head, but Sonic Mania was one of those games that really, really surprised me. It has that just great Sonic the Hedgehog feel from all the way back on the Genesis, and was really a surprising title to see drop the way it did, and I think the most surprising thing, it was a successful Sonic game, which we haven't seen in a really long time. You know, I don't say that as a dig or anything. Like, Sonic has just not been. It hasn't been doesn't have the best track record, so it's nice to see a Sonic game that's really fun. The music just took me back. You know, I never had the Sega Genesis, but I had a good friend who had the Sega Genesis, and I would stay the night there often as a kid, and just hearing the music and the sound it makes when you collect the rings and when you get hit and the rings go flying everywhere, like it took me back, and they did a great job with this one. This is one you picked up, right?
Yes. Yeah, I didn't play it as much as I should have, but I can always go back and play more. But it felt just like the Sonic you would remember. So the controls were on point. There's like, two buttons, a jump and the power up spin or whatever.
Yeah, I think so.
But it's classic Sonic. These games, these old Sonic Mario style platformers, there wasn't a lot going on, but they were not easy. And this is still very much the same. I always felt Sonic was a little more forgiving than Mario because of the rings, because as long as you have some rings, you don't ever really die.
Sure.
But it's not easy. I've definitely died. And if you like Sonic at all, or if you want to play a Sonic you never played one, this is not a bad starting point.
No, definitely isn't. Don't mistake it with Sonic Forces, though. Just want to make sure that's...
I think that's the game Hatred Shaped Like a Man was talking about when he said 1-2 trash, but I could be wrong.
He misspelled Sonic Forces.
Yeah.
So
I could be wrong.
We couldn't put... We would be doing you a disservice if we did not put Minecraft on this list. Yes, this game can be multiplayer. Online, and I believe on the couch as well on the Switch. Minecraft is awesome. Most people know what it is. If you don't have any other way to play it, again, this is a game that you can play forever. Like forever. There's so much to do. They're continually updating, continually adding skins. I recently bought the Stranger Things skins for the characters so that my kids can play the game.
I saw that. Please elaborate. Tell me more. Because I was like, I don't want to do it. But I'm going to say unfortunately, it's only the skins for the characters. We were hoping it was going to give us the upside down. And they already have the Ether or whatever they call it. They could have I feel like that's a huge missed opportunity. But you can run around as a Demogorgon or whatever, so. Spoilers. But my daughter just loves Stranger Things. She's 9. It's like her favorite show. So she was please, who doesn't? Please, Dad, come on. I'm like, all right, I can't not do it. So Killer from Axis says Minecraft is his most played game at like 145 hours. There you go. I mean, it is a very popular game, a lot of bang for your buck, and it does have the multiplayer aspect as well. So there you go. Next one on the list, Steam World Dig 2. Did you play this to completion? I can't remember. No, I never beat a game anymore. Okay, that just doesn't happen. Yeah. But I did play a good few 6 hours, maybe 6 to 10 hours. I don't remember now. I enjoyed it. I really like the digging, and you talked about it a little bit earlier, so I won't go too far into it. You see a point, you're like, I obviously know I need to go there. You can really screw things up and dig yourself to a point where you can't go back up. So there's some strategy. It's not just mindless. It's fun. The combat's kind of weak in the game, but I feel like that's not really the point of the game. But I did enjoy it. The leveling up is cool. You can go down a little bit longer if you level up the right stuff. You get new cool toys to play with down there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I really had no expectations for the game. I didn't know what to expect. And when I started seeing like power ups and that kind of stuff happening, I was like, oh, okay, this is becoming more appealing to me. So I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm not loving it like most people are, but I think I'm the minority. So, don't sleep on that one. This one is one that I'm so glad I picked up. Captain Logan let me know it was on sale. I talked about it a little bit on the show already, but the Mummy Demastered. If you are a Metroid fan, especially like this game reminds me the most of Metroid Fusion on the Game Boy. It feels like that 32-bit pixel art, and it's really a Metroid game, but it's done very well. The movie was terrible, so just throw that out. Like, don't even think about that. Think about this as a standalone game. What's crazy is it's a movie game. It's a game based on a movie.
Is it really based on the movie? I was wondering if that was.
It's not like. I don't think you're not playing as like Tom Cruise's character or anything like that.
Well, then it's total garbage.
But probably it may actually have helped it. Who knows? I feel like it's one of those things you don't have like you don't feel like you're going to be really invested into the main character. It's kind of a faceless character, kind of like the Master Chief thing, or even Samus when you first played Metroid. It was like, oh, this is just a spaceman or whatever. No, it's a space woman.
Yeah.
Spoilers. It's really fun. Mummy Demastered is really fun. The controls are tight. Highly recommend. Especially, I think it's still on sale. There's like 72 games on sale right now. So
no, it's killing me. LA Noire is on sale too. It's killing me.
So, the next one we have on here is the one that Hate probably feels as strongly about as I do about the Mummy, which is
Floor Kids. So I don't want to beat a dead horse, which is an expression people use, not the bathwater baby thing. But Floor Kids is really, really good. It's fun. It's, if, like I said, if you had an eShop card and you only have $20, you probably should go with Stardew Valley. If you have infinite money and money's no object to you, $20 for Floor Kid is not bad at all. I've put about 5-6 hours. The most fun thing for me about that game is like I have a buddy who's really into making music. He and I can compete and pass the controller because they do have multiplayer couch co-op that you can battle against each other, and it's kind of like the old Stomp the Yard type movies, or what were those movies called? The Bring It On, where they have the dance offs. So like one person's dancing. Idea. Yeah, I'm an adult male, so I don't know what you're talking about. HateXero. So one person's dancing, and then you can do something to interrupt that and jump in and dance, and the high score wins. So it's fun.
I gotta research this game. I gotta do it. I'll probably pull the trigger.
You should. I don't think you'll regret it. So the other cool thing is it's a really small dev team who didn't make video games before. The main guy who did all the animations, John Animations, he animated like music videos for people before, stuff like that. And then the DJ is a famous hip hop DJ. He didn't make games. So and then they have like their entire team is like 12 people, I think. It's a super small team. And it's a total passion project for them.
Interesting.
So,
yeah.
They're really receptive. If you hit any of them up on Twitter, they will respond to you. Guaranteed. So it's really cool.
Very cool. Yeah, I'll have to pull the trigger on that one, I think. The next two, I'll throw out real quick games I've played that I enjoyed. Didn't play them through completion, but they are good. Is Blaster Master Zero, a good throwback to the NES game, and Mighty Gunvolt. If you've got that Mighty Gunvolt Burst, if you've got that itch to play Mega Man or a game in that style, I definitely recommend Mighty Gunvolt Burst and the other Mighty Gunvolt as well. There's a 2-pack of Mighty Gunvolt 1 and 2, or Gunvolt. I'm sorry, Gunvolt 1 and 2. I think Mighty Gunvolt is the 8-bit version, and then just Gunvolt. Okay. I don't know. It's a little bit confusing, but any of the Gunvolt games, highly recommend if you like side-scrolling shooters. So they're all great on the Switch. And the last one is one that we both enjoyed, but I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, Retro City Rampage. So it's a throwback to a lot of the old games you used to play. It feels kind of like top-down Grand Theft Auto, or even if you want to go further back, top-down the first Ninja Turtles, where you had to get into the van and then you'd get ran over by whatever the heck that vehicle was that always ran you over. And
the Foot Soldiers Steamroller.
Yeah, I don't know, why did they have who's driving a steamroller around?
I don't know. But the Foot Clan.
Yeah, we'll have to hit up Ultra. I think that's the one who made it, right? We'll have to ask them if they exist.
Who's still there?
But there's a lot of fun retro throwbacks, so we won't spoil it because I think that's half the fun of the game. But every 80s, 90s big thing that happened you can think of is probably in the game. It's a lot of fun. Yeah,
you're pretty much spot on right there. I just kept having those no way moments as I was as I was playing the first 10 minutes of the game. So definitely one worth checking out. So lastly, here is the multiplayer. Again, couch and online. The first two are going to be just couch, which is Overcooked. Did you play that one at all?
I didn't.
So this is one that has been huge for my family just to play on the couch. My wife loves it. My daughters love it. We have people over. We play it together. It's pure chaos. People yelling at each other. It's one of those games that ruins friendships, because somebody won't hand you a tomato that you can slice up and get your soup going. Just a ton of fun. And this gets a game on multiple systems or whatever, but we picked it up on the Switch. It's coming out physical in January, I believe. And, Retro City Rampage is actually going to be on Amazon and physical also this coming up very soon, I guess. So, but Overcooked is quite fun if you have people to play with. You can play it by yourself, but it's actually, I don't even recommend it. Because you have to basically control multiple chefs at the same time. You have one that's handing you the tomato, then you have to switch the character, take the tomato, go cut the tomato, hand it back, switch the character, go. It's not all that fun. You get even just one other person playing with you, and the game is quite fun, but it's very, very challenging. We're at a point in the game now to where we have to 3-star levels in order to unlock more levels, but all the levels we haven't 3-starred are because they're so tough. It is not an easy game. So be prepared to be frustrated, but in a good way.
Okay.
In a good way. Snipper Clips is another one we've played a lot, and I've seen all of my kids play that. I've got boys that are 15 and 16. They even get into this game. It's a simple game, 2 buttons. You cut yourself into different shapes. You do puzzles, or you can fight in the dojo and play air hockey or play basketball, and you're cutting each other while you're trying to get the ball in the hoop. It's so much fun. It's just very simple. Easy game to pick up and play. I even had, I think my 4-year-old niece was playing with us and just having a good time, having a great time. So it's definitely one if you got somebody to play with on the couch, highly recommend this one. And it does have a physical release as well. And I think it's going for $30 now for the entire game, which it's a decent amount of content. So I recommend it. Next one here, you did pick up, I believe, or at least you've played before.
I didn't pick it up. but that doesn't mean I won't. So it's Rocket League. I had it on PS4. I think I even got it on Xbox One. So I was kind of reluctant to buy it for a third time. Well, I didn't buy it on PS4. It was free, so whatever. Irrelevant, but it's a game that if you haven't ever played it, there's nothing else really like it. It's soccer with cars. I mean, so it's definitely fun. The chaos, making a good save or hitting the final shot is so fun and rewarding. It's definitely fun and worth playing if you've never played it. Even if you have played it, it might be worth jumping back into because there's a whole new list of players out there playing. So it's not, the people who play on the other consoles are all like Rocket League professionals at this point, and they're doing stuff that I'm like, this guy made a shot by doing like a quadruple backflip, like double gainer. Like, I don't even understand this. So you'll be playing with other noobs, and that's good sometimes.
If you turn off crossplay, just make sure.
Oh yeah, that's a good call too. Definitely.
Yeah, this is one I picked up. I mean, graphically, you see it suffer in the resolution to keep the 60 frames always, and that's fine. You want that 60 frames when you're playing against PC or Xbox. It has the Mario cars in it that make the jumping sound when they jump, the Mario jumping sound, which is just great. Like, everybody that hears that when we've been playing is like, oh, I love the sound that car's making, So really, really a fun game. Rocket League. I feel like you could spend hours in this game and get really, really good at it, or you can just kind of play it casually. Like my brother-in-law and I played it on when we celebrated Thanksgiving with them, and we went head to head, and then I set up a second account so that we could take it online and played 2v2 split screen on the Switch against two other people, and it was fun. And you could also set up with bots, so if you want to just practice, you can play against the computer. Also a nice feature. So a lot of quality content there. It is getting a physical release in January also.
Yes, it is. Collector's edition. You gonna bite? Oh
yeah, of course. I always do.
So this is something that I think someone answered in the Discord for me, but have you played it since the update? Because I know some of the graphics were muddy prior to the update. I was wondering if it got any better.
Are you talking in handheld mode?
Yes.
I have not played it in handheld mode.
Okay.
In quite some time. So.
Okay.
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah. Supposedly there was a big update. What was it? A week and a half ago. And it allegedly fixed a lot of the muddiness, so you're getting closer to the 720p, and I guess the draw distance has increased as well, which would be really helpful.
Oh, for sure. I love that they're doing that too, that they're keeping up, keep trying to improve these games. I think it's great.
Yeah, I
think it's great. The last one on the list for eShop multiplayer is Inverses, and this is actually for couch and online. It's a very simple kind of shooter puzzle game. It's like basically Othello with guns, and so as you shoot, you turn blocks the same color that you are. So if you're the black square, you turn all the squares black. If you're the white square, you turn them white, and you try to trap the other player in some way so that you can eventually shoot them with your gun or whatever. So it's a very simple game, but again, a lot of options for multiplayer. You can go online with two people versus two other people. You can go one versus one. I actually I haven't played it an awful lot, but what I have played, I've really enjoyed. And it's one of those games that I believe it is still continually getting updated, getting more maps. It's not a real high price of admission. So if you just want something that's kind of pick up and play and not real difficult, Inverses is a good choice. We did have from the chat, Doggly Woggly recommended Cave Story Plus. And that's also 2-player at the same time. It's like a side-scrolling adventure game that you can do 2 players. So I haven't experienced that, but that came from the chat. So I just want to make sure I didn't miss it. So that's kind of our list of games for the Switch. If you got it for Christmas and you're wondering what to pick up, there you go. Hopefully that helps. We do just kind of want to wrap up with like just kind of looking back at the year. What do you think? What are your thoughts? 2017 for Nintendo.
I'm going to give Nintendo's 2017 a red shell. No, it was far beyond my expectations. I didn't think Nintendo would have a relevant system, or at least not as relevant as they do. I was slightly excited for the NX when that was the rumored name, just because I thought Nintendo was going to take it into a different direction. They completely went against my recommendation of making a powerful console. And you know what? They were right. Had they made another powerful console, there was no reason to do it. What they've done is genius, and it worked. The biggest surprise for me with 2017 is I've never been a huge fan of indie games. Nintendo, I don't know if it's in the way they're marketing the indies, because no one else is really giving the indies any marketing. Like you just don't see it on Xbox or PlayStation. But Nintendo's giving the indie developers an opportunity to shine, and it's truly working. And I'm playing more indie games than I've ever anticipated playing.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Like Major Nelson will tweet out that there's an indie coming out on the Xbox at like 9:00 on like a Monday night or a Thursday night or something, whenever it is. And it's like, nobody's seeing that. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's there's not a lot of love, not like what Nintendo is doing. But so that was the good. Is there a bad side to this?
Yeah. So, I love the Switch. I don't want to get rid of it, but obviously we all are starting to see the writings on the wall. They need to fix some things. What I believe happened is they pushed out this console as a beta. You know, it was probably something they could have waited a little bit longer to push, but I think they were struggling to stay relevant. So they pushed it out a little early, which is fine because we got some killer games. But what we're not getting is updates to the home or home. We're not getting updates there, so that's just completely vanilla, no music. No way to sort your titles unless you just go through and play the games. However, that's going to be the furthest one out there. Still no Netflix support. There is Hulu, which is great, but Amazon, Netflix isn't there. No music support of any kind. And the biggest thing that is a huge failing that they need to fix is the online. They said it was coming at the end of this year. Now it got pushed to early 2018. Again, we haven't heard anything, so not sure when that's coming. But that's the biggest thing for me. They need an actual online platform, and they need it soon.
Yeah, they definitely do. They definitely need to get it figured out and let us know what's happening. What's happening with Virtual Console? That's another thing that a lot of people are really wanting. They want these Virtual Console games, and my hope is that Nintendo's doing something better than just releasing a handful of Virtual Console games each month. I would pay probably $10 a month to have access to the NES library that they could have the licenses for, the Super Nintendo library, so on and so forth. There's such a vast library there. I would gladly pay a Netflix subscription for all those games. Are they doing more than just creating the Virtual Console? Is it going to be like what they mentioned early on, where games are going to get added multiplayer, like Super Mario Kart possibly? Or, I'm speculating at this point, but to be able to play some of those older games online, that would add more value to them in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah, they talked about what the fans were all calling Netflix, where we get a subscription-based service to the old. It looked like it was at least regular and Super Nintendo, but any of that would be a great starting point. And even if it's not fully fleshed out and there's only 20 titles to begin, I'm definitely on board and ready for them to do that.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm with you. Like, looking back on the year, like, I cannot believe, just that this is the same Nintendo. I mean, look back at a year ago. There was like, what games are we going to play? Like, what's coming out for the Wii U 2 years ago when there was nothing. There was no games. There was like, it's so weird to see a company do such a 180 and create something that in Japan, I believe all the numbers I saw this week in Japan is outselling what the PS2 did in its first year, which the PS2 is the most sold console in history.
Yeah, it's a great. So I think what the Switch is doing that is where I think they succeeded in not creating a third powerhouse is their console's the perfect complement to any PS4 owner, any Xbox owner, or any PC gamer's arsenal. Because none of those can do what the Switch does. And Hatred Shaped Like a Man saying that the Switch is a tablet. Yeah, I suppose, but it's not. You can try to, maybe it looks like a tablet and power wise it's like a tablet, but it's a hybrid console. There's no tablet that can do what the Switch can do. There's no console that can do what the Switch can do. It's a complete league of its own.
Yeah, and still just, I mean, again, just so surprised at what Nintendo has pulled off. And not only pulled off with the system, but even with the games. I mean, Zelda is amazing. Mario Odyssey, amazing. Xenoblade, amazing. So many games in 1 year. In 1 year, it doesn't. I mean, are things going to continue this way? I don't know. I don't know, because if you look at Xbox and PlayStation, the amount of like exclusive games that have been coming out on those systems has significantly dropped off. The first year they hit all their major players, or at least a few of them. Xbox especially kind of hit their major players, Forza and Halo and Gears of War, right? Yep. There's not a whole lot of franchises there, unfortunately. And then we didn't see much. Nintendo has a vast library where we could continue seeing more. But I think even if it does slow down on the first party front, now we're going to see third parties stepping up to the plate as well. That's probably the biggest surprise of all, is that we're getting third parties on a Nintendo console. That really, I mean, they were there for the Wii, but they were kind of shovelware. They were the beginning of the Wii U, and they realized that they weren't selling, and everybody was like, "We're done." We're done. Absolutely. And now the fact that we have Doom, LA Noire, I mean, companies like Ubisoft and EA, and EA is not a major supporter, but they're still there. Capcom, Capcom's got multiple games coming out on the Switch next year.
We're getting Wolfenstein 2 in January, February? Yeah,
Bethesda, and it's crazy to see. It is such a huge surprise. So it's a good time to be a Nintendo fan, man. Looking back on this year has been awesome. So, well, hey, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter. It's at HateXero, 0 with an X. You'll see me in the Discord soon. I will be probably announcing it on Twitter soonish, but by mid-January, before the end of January, I'd like to flesh out and get my show going. So I will have a show. It's not going to be all Nintendo. It's going to be more generic to gaming with a focus on probably Nintendo. So expect plenty of salt to be thrown there. It'll be a fun time. I will get that link to everybody once I have it. But I have an important, maybe last time I get to say this, and it's not a bad one. Tune in next week. Josh is going to open up Mario cereal and eat it live on the air and give you his opinion.
Oh, yeah. Podcast with crunchy snacks. That's my favorite.
He'll let it get soggy in the milk first, and then he'll eat it.
Of course. Oh, man. Well, this has been fun. Thanks for taking the time, buddy. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Guys, you're going to find me on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Patreon, all the above. It's all N64Josh. You can look for me there. We desperately need reviews now, because I think a few people got upset that they didn't find the actual Nintendo show and dropped a handful of 1-star reviews. So either they just hated me, or I don't know. I don't know what it is. So if you enjoy the show more than ever, I'm asking if you can take a second, even if you can just go hit the 5-star review if you like it. It'd be great. So, remember, audibletrial.com/NPC. Get yourself a free book. opseat.com. Gaming chairs that are comfortable, affordable. Use coupon code N64Josh. And I hope you guys had a great year. So 2018 is looking to be good so far. I can't wait to see what it holds. And we'll see you guys later. Take it easy.